Hello everyone, welcome to Cornflower Crafts. I'm on today just to show you guys what I've been up to. I did this tray before I started my paper crafting project that I did for Mystical Misty 1, her birthday challenge that she has right now going on. And so I thought, well, I'll put these aside until, until I get my entry in. And then I was like, well, go back to this. I have like 4 or 5 different projects in the fake bakes just in the wings, So, but I thought I'd show you some of the ones that I'm dealing with, working on, and to also show you that my failures. I made my macaroons. I made them too thick. So, but I don't have the heart to throw them out because of the money involved in the clay and the spackle and everything, my time. So, but let me show you. Let me sit down for a second. It all of a sudden got warm in the room. The macaroons, they're not finished yet, but see, that's just too thick. And normally they're done so that your filling does not come out the side like that. But I kind of got a kick out of it doing that because I thought it was, for me, if I were to make them, they'd probably look more like that. Now, Cindy showed us, this is with Model Magic clay. And Cindy from Peep This, y'all, she showed us that if you put like a cling film over it before you cut your cookie out, that it gives it that nice dome. But she also showed us how to give it some texture here. You can do it with a toothpick and everything to give it that texture to where it looks like a macaron. And I just, as you see, I cut them too thick. And my fingers were here, because, as soon as you cut them, you want to give them the texture. And you can see it goes down. See? It goes, there's a little dip, and it's supposed to be no dip whatsoever. So my remedy is, this is out of the Model Magic clay as well, and this I actually dyed that blue. So what I'm going to do is probably put a little bit more spackle there, have this here. I'm going to first paint the center, maybe even do a little more decoration with spackle in the center here, and then take my leaf tip and make little leaves going around and stuff and decorate them that way. There's a daisy, but I have to keep painting. But this Model Magic was, I went ahead and dyed it with acrylic paint before I did the mold. Let's see, these are, if you don't know, this is done with a paper clay, by the way. But that's what, they come out darker than the Model Magic and a little bit heavier. But that's before painting. But when it came to the blue and the pink with the Model Magic, I went ahead and incorporated my paint into the Model Magic. And I think it dyes it beautifully, or colors it beautifully. Now, these little chocolates that I did over here, these are out of the Model Magic too, but what I had to do was, after I put them in the mold, they didn't come out of the mold well. You can stick the mold with the Model Magic in it in your freezer for like 15 to 30 minutes. I ended up doing it an hour to make sure, and then they'll pop out beautifully, and then you can put them on your parchment paper to dry. And then I painted it, and then after I painted it, I put let me see, what did I put on these guys? That, where is it? My poor desk, it looks terrible. Here we go. The Duraclear satin varnish. Okay. So I did it in, you know, that beautiful mint green and then some pink with white. That's not a lot of fun because your paintbrush on the white stripes has to be very, very thin. Then with the little, and I had another chocolate that I did, but it's over in Handsome's room, his office, on a spoon that I dipped in pretend chocolate, and then so that he can have a piece of chocolate before he eats his chocolate sundae. Boom, boom, boom. These darling molds, this mold was given to me by Paper Confessions with Gatamia, and she sent that to me, bless her heart, for my birthday. And it's a matter of the Model Magic again and putting it in the freezer, and then go ahead and painting them. And not on the cones. I didn't use that varnish on the cones, but I used it on the ice cream itself. And I also, that varnish is really good to paint on after it's dried. Paint on some more varnish and then put your glitter on it. I think it did a good job. I was happy with how that turned out. And let's see, what else do I have on? Oh, cookies. I have some cookies that, my sugar cookies, I like to make them thicker. Because as you know, if you do, I guess the reason I was so shy about doing the macarons thinner is they can warp with the Model Magic. And what I love about the Model Magic is it's so light, and I like working with it. And so I did just, you know, piped a rose, blue rose on that, but you can't see it very well. But there is white that I had in the piping bag as well. It was white and blue, but you can see it a little bit. Then this is the one with the glitter on it. But let me show you a little trick. Let's see how it looks after I do this. I got this makeup brush years ago. And what I do, because you know, I put quite a bit of glitter on it while it's wet. And then you can't see me, but I'll show you in a second. I'm over the trash bag, getting off the extra, just brushing it off gently, and you'll see how much nicer it looks. Because even if I tap it, you know, turn it upside down and tap it over the trash can, it still doesn't. And this way too, with having the extra off, it won't be going on everything. You know what I mean? That if you put it out for display, which is what I'm going to do. And then with this one, I went ahead and tried something different. This frosting tip has, it can make different flowers, but but as you see, I'm learning, guys. I'm really learning. And then I took two different tips to make the center. The one in the middle is just a very small round one, and the one around it is a very tiny star one. And have you seen flowers that have that little star look in the center? I have. And then I also did them, as you already see, in the pink. And when you see little boo-boos and stuff like that in the bottom of my cookies, that's because if I cannot get them out of the cookie cutter, you can take just a little piece of clay and, you know, you're supposed to touch it real quickly so that it won't stick, but it'll get out of the cookie cutter. Mine, so mine needed a little more coaxing. So, and then as you say, I also did them out of with the pink one. I think I'm happier with the way the pink ones turned out than the blue. I mean, the blue looks okay. I think the blue must have been my first one. As you know, the more you do the better it gets. Also, these guys, this is just out of what I had left over and with my clays that I dyed. And these are my gumballs. Remember, I got on 90% off that cute little gumball, glass gumball container, I guess you call it, with the bunny ears in pink. That's what these guys will go in. And I have to make a bunch more though, because this is just what I had left over in the clay. So that's one thing I've been working on. Here's another tray of things, of roses and stuff I've been working on. And the thing with that is, these go on top of a cake I'm working on. And I tell you, here's the thing about spackle. It's still, like I said, you know, it's spackle, so you can still mess with it. But see, I'm smacking it kind of hard. And when you use the tip, let's see, this is a petal tip, which looks like this. You've got a narrow end, and it's a teardrop, and then a wider end. And the narrow end really does produce, you know, it's a very thin, that your spackle seed comes out in a very thin way. But you can still, see what I'm saying? I don't see why you can't use this on a card or on some paper, or maybe if you're doing a journal and it's a hardcover, maybe putting something like this to embellish your journal cover. Now, what some people would tell you, yes, with doing this all the time, eventually that's not going to be good. But maybe these are still a little bit wet on the back side of them. But maybe something like this, you know, and then do, let's get some leaves out, and then do like this. Of course, you can make your leaves out of the spackle too, or you can die cut them, which would be even better. Or you can do like this. You know, and make something. Well, I'm on a very slick surface here, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. And use them as embellishments. I think that would, because these are super tough, you know what I mean? It's just very, very small, and it's quite a bit of spackle there. And I think that's something I'm thinking about trying, or on the top of an embellishment box. How cute would that be? I guess what I'm saying is, if you're a paper crafter and you're here and you're thinking, I don't want to do fake bakes, I don't want to work with spackle, or I don't want to buy nice spackle and then have to keep doing projects to use it and stuff like that. Me, myself, I'm on my second very large container of the DAP spackle. They call it spackling. I've called it spackle all my life, but okay. But anyway, this is my second group of things. Now, here's the cake. I'm still working on it, guys. Here's what they're gonna go on. Okay, these are just sitting here. I keep, the more I do, I pipe something on, and then I let it dry. Pipe something on, let it dry. I do it like that. It'll go, we'll have a border up here. These will have dimensions. They won't be sitting flat on there. You know, they'll be like so and like so. And green leaves and everything like that. I don't know if you can see the bottom of it, but so that's another one of my projects. And I've still got another one, guys. Ah, I've got a lot going on. So, did any of you guys, this is a super close-up, so there's no way I can take the, well, yes I can. Let me take these off so I can show you what's happening here. I should have done this before. I'm sorry. That's what it is. So, did any of you guys get these cute little stands from Target? This guy, tiered tray is what they're saying. It was $5. And I just thought it was darling, and I didn't think I was going to find one. And I went several towns over about a month ago, I guess, and they had this in their dollar spot. I don't do Target a lot, but when I see somebody, if they have this on their YouTube and they're like just showing it to us, you know what I mean? They're just saying it's in their little thumbnail. I'm like, whoa, I want one of those. The top looks kind of rough because it had a canvas piece of fabric on it. It was glued, and then, you know, over the whole top, and it's in a more of a light moss green and a creamy white stripes, which of course is perfect to have stripes on something of this nature, where you would display cupcakes, donuts, cookies, or vegetables or fruit or what have you, however you want to, whatever you want to put on it. But you know me, I'm like, I don't want that moss green or olive green. So I took it off. You can take it off gingerly. Just, you know, start in a corner, and because the glue was a good glue, just start in the corner and take it off very gingerly. And then I take sandpaper to get this, because it's extremely textured because of that glue, and then go with the grain and just very gingerly get the see, you can see here, this part is done, and well, there's one little section that's done that I did, and all of this, you should feel it. Ugh, it's just it's just the glue that's still there. I don't know if I'm going to paint it or if I'm going to apply fabric that I like to it. I'm not sure yet. So that's another reason it's just sitting there. This got put on hold. That I was working on first, and I was like, eh. Now, how these guys, well, they will go on that tiered tray, and this is how they worked out with my, remember, I made the cute little cupcake cuffs, I call them, because it is like a cuff. And this is the other one, like so. I was tickled with those. And then I also made some minis, but I just did the minis in roses alone, where you just pipe the rose, and instead of having like a flower nail, just take your cupcake and just go around, just keep turning it around and around and around and around, you know. And then I did, these are even smaller minis, if that makes any sense. These guys have styrofoam balls in the bottom of them. These guys, you can still see, have Model Magic clay. And I knew I wanted to cover up everything, so I didn't paint these, but you can paint them if you have the melted chocolate paint, or chocolate paint, or there's a whole bunch of paints out there, acrylic paints that would do. But I knew I wanted to go all the way around, like these guys. So, and these darling, darling little mini cupcake cups. Remember, I have issues with that. Oh, I just call them cupcake liners, but oh well. Anyway, And because they're Model Magic, see, they have the weight in them already. They're not gonna, you know, tip over very easily. But yes, you can paint this if you just want to put like a flower or something just here, and so that you could see it being chocolate, vanilla, a strawberry, what have you. And these are just so darn, look how cute they are. Aren't they cute? I thought they were precious. And I want to do one, as you see, with one of my little bunnies, pink bunnies on the top. The wooden ones that I got on clearance at, no, I think they were 66% off at that time at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure, you know, I've got the grass tip that I could use, but I might do something else and just put that baby right there. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on these days. What I used to do, the reason I bought these in the first place had nothing to do with fake bakes, because at the time I got these, in fact, let me show you. I'm going to have to stretch over here. Well, if I can get a hold of them. These are they. A Sweet Tooth Fairy. And this is what they did to decorate theirs. They did a vanilla cupcake, a real one. And yeah, I got these in 2019. They're put out by American Craft, I think. Yeah, right there. And I got them, I'm sure you all already know what I'm going to say, for paper crafting, even though, see, the inside is fantastic. It's the non-stick stuff. I don't know what they use, but it's really cool. And what I used to do was, while it was whole, like this, I would just take my scissors, my Martha Stewart scissors, and cut the center out. And if I wanted to use it, if I needed a large rosette, I could use it like that, and then do another smaller rosette in the center, and then something, probably a button or something in the center of that. But you can cut it right there, and then if you wanted to make a smaller one, let's see, like that. Well, let's make it even smaller. And then glue that, you know, or even smaller yet, and do my rosettes like that. And that's how I first use them. And I thought about donating them because, as you see, I've had them a while. And then I thought, no, I'll use them because they're just so cute, you know. They're just darling. Yes, grease proof. That's what that inside is all about. And so that's what I'm doing these days. And the interesting thing is, I'm still interested. I would love, absolutely love, to do more piping, learn more about my piping, because I'll be honest with you, as you see, I need to learn more. Oh, one other thing, and I think you all saw this. I think I had this out when I was doing the VR for Misty, making 2 more of the large, you know, regular cupcakes, fake bakes, and making it in this little cupcake cup there. So, and that's what I'm doing these days, and still having fun with it. There's just so much to learn in it, and what I'm doing is going to the cake designers on YouTube. There are so many of them, and what I'm doing is going to them and trying to learn the piping techniques and what piping tips they're using and everything, to see if I can do like they do. Oh, I will say another thing with my cake that I just showed you. That is a styrofoam cake that you can get at Hobby Lobby or other craft stores. And what I did, I was trying to do it like they do it. You know what I mean? I was trying to ice it the same way that they ice things. And so I had the cake here, and I don't know if you notice, it is on, yes, a little pink turntable. But the thing is, it's a plastic one. I went cheap, but there's no way I'm going to invest in those metal ones for a fake bake. If it was real cake and I really became quite good at piping and stuff, then maybe, but not. So here I am. What you do is you fill up your piping bag, and you can do one of two things. You either put, I don't think I have a piping tip over. Oh, here we go. All right. You can either put a piping tip like this one, which is a Wilton 1A, on, fill it up with whatever color icing you want, and well, spackle in my case, and you can use this, and then you apply pressure while you spin it and spin it and spin it, and you go up the cake like this, and then when it comes to the top, you go like this, okay, if that makes any sense. And so then you take your I call it a palette knife, but I don't know the proper term, and go around, you know, and smooth out everything so that it all looks all smooth and pretty. Well, the top, unfortunately, I did the top first, which I shouldn't have done. When it came to, oh, I got to backtrack. So when I'm doing the side, remember we're dealing with styrofoam. Now sometimes spackling and styrofoam are very good friends, and it adheres fine and there's no problem. But what was happening with my styrofoam is when I was turning it around, oh, I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to interrupt myself. You can also, let me get one. Let me see. You can also just take, before you fill it, instead of putting this tip in, you can also create a circle right here by just cutting it, you know, depending on how big you want. You could, which is what I did. I just cut my piping bag and went around the cake with, I didn't need that tip in it personally because I wasn't going to use it for anything else. Well, okay, so I'm going around, right? Woo! I'm like, this is fun. It got to one section. I got around. It was sticking. It was sticking. It was sticking. And then when I got here, it decided, no, I don't want to. And it just literally came like this, came off of the styrofoam. So I'd have to stop, get my little knife and put it back, put it back. Okay, keep going, you know. Whee! Stick, 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 stick. Stop. No. So I had to keep constantly, okay, you know. That's an 8-inch cake, by the way. And just keep doing that. So, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, this is different, you know. This is a different thing, but I wanted to try to do it as much as the way that they do for a real cake as possible. So I did the top. You know, you're spinning, spinning, and of course it's a lot like this long if I'm still in frame. And you're taking it and you're smoothing everything out. You're just so happy because it's working, and you're taking off any extra, scraping it in my container like this that has the frosting in it and stuff. So, and it was white on white, and I was just so happy. Everything was going well. So then when I go to smooth out the sides, of course, it was giving me a little trouble on that one section. But eventually, you know, you go around a couple of times, and if you've got some bare spots, you come back and fill it in again, and go again. Well, when that happens, especially if you all do this anyway, or if you do edible cakes, you know, your frosting will come up at the top. And what they always did, let's say it came over. Let's say it came over. This is the top, and it came over. It comes over. Then you take your palette knife and you go and smooth it over just where it comes up, so you've got your nice smooth edge. Well, what had happened with the spackling is that it already started to dry. So when I tried to smooth it over, I mean, you saw it 100%. It wasn't, you know, nothing was smooth at all. Just the opposite. It was beautifully smooth in the center, but all the sides you could see it. So I was like, oh no, what do I do now? So I thought, I'm not starting over, because I was happy with it at one time. Maybe I can get it back. Nothing I was doing worked. Nothing. So when I've worked with it in the past, if it starts to dry on you, sometimes you can revive it with water. So I started spraying, not heavily, I promise you, just a little bit, just misting basically over top of it, and then trying again and trying again. It never came back to the way it looked originally when I was super happy. It never came back to that, but it came back enough to where I'm okay with it. Usually you're not gonna, even though they work super, super hard, a lot of times where you take, you know, your palette knife away, sometimes there's a little seam there and stuff like that. But most cake decorators, real cake decorators, they're cool with it. So I decided to be cool with it too. But I see my boo-boos. I'm looking at them. But I did. But it was the best I could do with what I had at the time. I think it might be a lot more fun to try it with a real small one and see how that goes. I'm going to do that in the future, because after I do this cake, I'm still going to kind of take a break on that little tiered tray that I got from Target. And then I have a paper crafting project that I want to do now, because it has to do with gardening. And I want to do that now. So, anywho, so this is the stuff I've been working on. I just thought I'd show you and have a little chat and see how you guys are doing. If you all have time to tell me how you guys are, I think that would be wonderful, and what projects you all are working on. I know a lot of people right now are finishing up projects because school's going to be out soon. And so they're doing things that, you know, they want to do while they can, really, because their summers are going to be so busy. But I just wanted to come on, show you guys, tell you a little bit about, you know, what worked, what didn't work for me. And like I said, I'm new to this and just trying to kind of feel out, you know, what works for me and what doesn't. But I'm having fun. I really am. This is a fun thing to do. And I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye-bye, everybody. Take good care.